Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. The USDA releasing two key reports on Friday that really got the grain market's attention. First and foremost, the agency releasing its prospective plantings report. Now it predicts this year farmers will plant 92 million acres of corn. That's up 4% or nearly 3.5 million from last year. And that number is 1.2 million more than what traders expected. Now for soybeans, we're looking at 87.5 million acres. That's up only slightly from last year, and that's below what was anticipated. For all wheat, just under 50 million acres is predicted. That's up 9% from a year ago and above what traders had expected. While cotton, it's predicted to be 11.3 million acres, down 18% and just slightly higher than the trade predictions. AgDay's Michelle Rook joins me. And Michelle, what was the biggest surprise for you in this report?
Clinton, corn acres are up from last year by nearly 3.5 million to 92 million, with soybean acreage only 50,000 higher than last year. And that came at the expense of cotton, which lost nearly 2.5 million acres. But the surprise comes in the state-by-state breakdowns for planting intentions on corn and soybeans. Both corn futures and strong cash prices have incentivized more corn plantings this year, especially when you look at the state-by-state breakouts. Corn acreage is up or unchanged in 40 of the 48 estimating states. Increases are in the blue, showing increases of 1 to 11% in the eastern corn belt. Southeastern states are up 14 to 21%, and the northwestern corn belt states up 3 to 27%. While on soybeans, most of the states in the Midwest and South, as you can see in the green, are down from 2 to 9% on acres, with the exception being North Dakota. Now, market analysts say prices and crop insurance guarantees on corn at $5.91 a bushel make corn more profitable than soybeans.
Well, right now, I think the corn acreage number came in here aggressively because that's where the money is. When you talk to a lot of producers all winter long, at least all our clients said, hey, that is where I'm going to plant. And the money says to plant the corn. So they did it.
However, the biggest increase in corn planting intentions came in North Dakota, which was up 27%. In fields in the Dakotas and Minnesota are sitting under several inches to feet of snow. So the question is how much of this gets planted.
But now the real debate, I think, when it's all said and done, Michelle, is this is the assumptions people gave us on early weeks of March. But the reality is the game has changed dramatically weather-wise. The Midwest is relatively wet. The Northern Plains continue to deal with a ton of snow. And, our clients up there aren't talking, if there'll be prevent plant, it's how many acres will be prevent planted.
He says that also puts spring wheat and durum acres in the Northern Plains at risk of not getting planted. Now, in fact, the increased wheat acres to 49.9 million came partially from the increase in durum acres, plus winter wheat acres were also increased by over 500,000 from USDA's January small grain seedings report. However, McCormick thinks some of those acres, HRW in particular, will be abandoned, so the wheat numbers on the June 30th report will be much lower than this.
All right, thanks, Michelle. We also received a new grain stocks report from USDA. Corn stocks are down 5% from March of last year, but we're slightly below what was expected by the trade, with more than 7 billion bushels still in the bin. Soybeans down 13%, also below the trade guess of 1.69 billion bushels, while wheat down 8%, slightly higher than the trade had anticipated at 946 million bushels.
The bean surprise, the big revision downward on those bean quarterly stocks was probably the surprise of the report, because traditionally we have a better handle of where the bean ending stocks are, because we know what we crush, we know what we export, and that tends to be the two big factors. So with this revision down in the quarterly grain stock, I would argue that maybe last year's crop may be a little bit smaller than people were thinking.
Now, if you'd